Hey, I'm Alex Shackleton from Gencon, and today we are going over another Gencon preview list. This is the third one that is on the channel, sort of. It's the second and a half one that is on the channel. If you missed it, I already did 2 videos together with Ryan from How I Roll, and that's why I said 2.5, because we did that collaboration feature, so like, there should have been 2 that showed up in the channel feed, but if not, there's 1 on my channel, 1 on his channel. Go ahead and check those out if you want either our top 10s on our most anticipated games from Gencon that we are personally interested in, or alternatively, our most recommended games from Gencon, games that we've played that we are recommending you check out as well. You can check out either or both of those lists. Should be available on both channels, but check out both channels just in case one's only showing up one or the other. But with that said, that is not the point. The point here is that today we are going to be diving into our top 10 expansions that I am, well, again, lists are so complicated. Top 10 expansions at Gencon. This particular list is a merging of both. Some of these expansions I've played and I'm recommending. Other expansions I am interested in finding out more and or playing and or adding to my collection, including one expansion that is actually making me get back the base game because I think it's time to get back the base game. We're going to dive into all of that shortly, but in order to start this off, we have to go ahead and shout out our channel sponsor. Allplay is a channel sponsor, and in fact, the way I'm going to do this right now over here is if you go to the BGG list, which is where I'm running this little thing from, if you go to the BGG list and you sort for, let's sort for expansions, and then let's go ahead and find any publisher and uncheck that and just find Allplay. If we find Allplay games over here, apply our filters, we can do a quick run through. They only have 4 expansions. I thought they had more. I could have sworn they had more, but we'll go ahead and do this. They have a lot of games in the Gencon preview list. They have Enchanted Ivy, A Grand Birthday over here. That is going to be an expansion for Enchanted Ivy. Fun fact, I don't have that on my list over here, not because it's not my most anticipated, but because if the game was releasing for the first time at Gencon anyway, as Enchanted Ivy is, I feel throwing the expansion in there is a little bit like, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, get the expansion by all means, but like, get the base game while you're at it. There's more containers, which shockingly enough is more of containers. Grunt Supplies, which is a small little mini expansion for Grunts, and the Networks Megacore, which is a slightly bigger expansion for the Networks. You can check out these expansions for Allplay, as well as any other games at their booth. Their booth will be large and have lots of games and shelves and all those things. Go ahead and check that out. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into the top 10 expansions at Gencon. This list is in order of personal interest, going from the very end all the way to the front over here. Starting off at number 10, we have a 3-way tie. The 3-way tie is not really a tie, it's more of they're 3 mini packs expansions. They're tiny little things. I didn't feel they're worthy of their own listing. We have Castle Combo out of the Oubliette. I think it's pronounced Oubliette, but I could be mistaken. This is a small little mini pack for Castle Combo. I've already reviewed it on the channel. It's basically a few new cards for Castle Combo with a lock symbol, so it's a new mechanic where you can kind of activate it later in the game. It's a nice little variety, spice of life, just added to your game, easy to incorporate. We have Faraway under Starry Skies. This is a little bunch of meteors. A bunch of meteors are showering down on your Faraway kingdom. Adds a new element as far as being able to count cards out of sequence, which is very fun, but you have to decide how much you want to prioritize getting your hands on those meteors. And then we have Zenith. Zenith Secret Agents. This is going to be, I believe, 10 cards, maybe 8 cards. A bunch more cards being added to your game of Zenith. This one seems to be the only one I haven't played from these 3. I probably will pick it up because I like Zenith enough, but honestly, this one kind of looks like I could skip it and it wouldn't make a big difference. Doesn't seem like it would majorly shift up the way I play Zenith in any particular way. I will probably still get it and check it out. That's going to be 3 mini expansions for Zenith, Faraway, and Castle Combo. Coming at number 9, we have Wondrous Creatures. Wondrous Creatures is a great game. Winterfall adds some nice strong elements. I think for me this one's a little bit lower on the list only because while there are definitely some things in Winterfall that I think really elevate the game, primarily the balancing of the fact that now all the different species types are going to have some reason why you want to chase them, as well as the card hunting mechanic that allows you to get particular cards, which can be incredibly helpful, especially when your engine depends on those recharge cards or activation cards or whatnot. There's also the larger Winterfell element that's going to be mixing up the game board a lot more through adding various snow tokens, collecting snow, changing up the landscape. That I felt was more take it or leave it. I don't mind it, but it also adds rules overhead without necessarily making the game better for me. But overall, I still like this. I just don't know if I don't know if I like absolutely recommend it as a, you know, go ahead and get this giant big box for a few small elements. But I do kind of like those small elements, and the bigger elements are, you know, hey, it's got an 8.9. I wonder how many of those are excitement ratings versus actual ratings, because maybe it's just me that thought the bigger winter element was like good, but not amazing and great. Coming in at number 8, we have Three Sisters Harvest Edition. This is also a correction from when I did my Origins coverage. I talked about Three Sisters Harvest Edition, and I talked about how I don't need to pick up Three Sisters if it's just a new art version with Andrew Bosley art, which I think is fantastic. But I was wrong, as people pointed out. It's not just a new art version. There's also a little mini campaign mode being added to Three Sisters, and so you know what I did at Origins? I bet you'll never guess. I picked up Three Sisters Harvest Edition because I do actually like Three Sisters a lot. The art was already tempting me, and then combine it with the fact that you now have a 12-chapter mini-campaign to go through, and that makes me interested enough. Have I played it? No, I have not. But I mean, to be fair, Origins was like 3 weeks ago. I haven't had a lot of time yet, but Three Sisters Harvest Edition, definitely check this out if you are a Three Sisters fan, and this is a great opportunity to gift your current copy of Three Sisters to someone who you think will appreciate it. That's what I did with mine, because some games I don't mind selling, some games I actively want to give away. I'm like, no, I want to share the love of this game that I enjoy, and Three Sisters is definitely a game that I enjoy. We have Mountain Ghost Legacy over here. I should note at this point that I didn't just include pure expansions, I also included standalone expansions, as well as even games that I feel are basically an expansion. Mountain Ghost Legacy is its own legacy version of Mountain Codes. It's very much its own game, but I didn't want to put it in the dedicated other videos. I want to include it in this particular list. This gives you the gameplay of Mountain Goats, but it gives it to you in a legacy format. You're going to be adding or iterating rules as you play through it, having a degree of story, choosing branching pathways, and all with replayability at the end, which I haven't played the replayability at the end yet part, so take it with a grain of salt, but I do believe this might achieve that. Because basically, each time you go on a branching pathway, you're adding a small module to Mountain Ghost Legacy, something that shifts it up. And the end game, the permanent mode of Mountain Ghost Legacy, allows you to kind of just build your own little modular version of how are you playing Mountain Ghost today. Which rules and the various elements are you incorporating together into your particular version. So it kind of manages to give you not necessarily legacy after you're done playing, but a degree of variability to the gameplay experience. Ultimately, if you like Mountain Goats, I think you'll like Mountain Goats Legacy. It is one of the easier legacy games to dive into. You're rolling dice, charging up the mountains, and then as you go through it, you're simply adding various rules. What new element is mixing it up? Which pathway do you need to go onto this particular journey? What are those new tokens, and how do they mess up the landscape and how you're traversing it? It's just a bunch of rules. I'm trying to be very spoiler-free over here, but if you like Mountain Goats, check this out, and it's fun. It's the Mountain Goats, but legacy. Over here, we have Shackleton Base, Below, Within, and Above. I have this. I have not played it yet. I love Shackleton Base. This basically introduces 3 new corporations and a new space agency as well. So you now have India as a new space agency, and you have 3 new corporations. Lunar City, which is going to be attracting civilians to the moon. Undermoon, which is going to be producing an advanced excavation system. And then we have Zenith, which, not to be confused with the other Zenith over there, you can collaborate with a powerful construction organization to build infrastructure. Those are going to be the 3 new organizations being added to your copy of Shackleton Base, further mixing up all the various ways you can mix and match the corporations that are going to be in play, and changing how each game operates as you go through it. Shackleton Base is phenomenal, highly recommended, and this just adds a ton more variability to your game. We have Dune Imperium Conspiracy. Fun fact, I never watched the second Dune movie. I watched the first Dune movie. I thought it was fun. We're going to go on a little Dune tangent over here. Dune the board game, great, amazing, fine, let's move on. Dune the movie, well, Dune the book. Dune the book, I tried reading way back a long time ago, kind of didn't get really into it. Then I tried the audiobook and got like maybe a third of the way through, and was like, you know what, that's fine, but I want to read the book again, because the audiobook I wasn't like fully following all the story points, which can happen with audiobooks for me. It's case by case. And so I started reading the book again. This all happened like last year, because like now the movies were out, all those things, and I got halfway through the book and I was like, I just wasn't invested. I wasn't invested in the book, so assuming not all books are better than the movies. And so the Dune movie, now that we've talked about how I am a heretic and I don't like the Dune book, or just not even don't like it, I just don't care enough. It's too long for me to not care enough what's happening. Going back to the Dune movies, I watched the first Dune movie, Dune Part 1, and I thought it was very, very well done, but very slow. Like it was good, it was quality cinema, but it was just slow moving. I didn't get around to Dune Part 2. I didn't actually watch Dune Part 2 yet, but I started it last night. Last night, for the first time, I started Dune Part 2. I did not finish it yet because I started it very, very late at night, but I do plan on watching the rest of Dune Part 2, doing all of this in preparation for Dune Part 3, because oh my gosh, how many movies is Zendaya in this year? Like, she's in The Odyssey, which I plan on watching shortly. She's in Dune Part 2. She's in Marvel. She's in Spider-Man. And she's in Doomsday, whatever it is. Not Doomsday. Doctor Doom. Marvel Doom, whatever it's called. So there's a lot of... is it Doom? I think it's Doctor Doom, right? That's who it is. She's in way too many blockbuster hits. It's a little insane, honestly, how much that woman is in. But either way, going back to Dune Part 2, watching that shortly. Dune Part 3, prepping for that. And now we have Dune Imperium Conspiracy, which is what you're actually here for, and I just went on a random tangent. Dune Imperium Conspiracy is going to be adding multiple elements to the game. It's going to add intrigue cards that have a conspiracy cards that are going to have a lasting benefit to the game, which is an interesting mechanic. I'm curious how that's going to work within the game system. It also adds a new overthrow mode, which feels like a big change that has me a little hesitant. It's honestly, it's not. It's why it's not higher on this list, because the overthrow mode takes a 1 versus many, where one player becomes the Emperor, Paul Muad'Dib, and then stands alone against 2 or 3 opponents working against that one player. That is very interesting. I do find any sort of overlord system in a game where 1 versus many system, I find balance can be incredibly hard to manage, and the gameplay can be hard to manage. When done well, they can give you epic experiences. So I am intrigued, but hesitant as far as what Dune Imperium Conspiracy will add to your Dune game. And yes, it is compatible with both Uprising and the original Dune. Coming in next, we have Akropolis Pantheon. I mentioned a game that's going to be making me get back the base game. I am pretty sure that when I go to Gen Con, I'm going to be coming home with Akropolis, as well as Akropolis Pantheon, as well as Akropolis Athena, I want to say. Let me pull this up, actually, we'll pull the other game. I believe the other expansion is Athena. So fun fact with Akropolis, I played Akropolis at Gen Con maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. It's been a while. And then from there, I loved it. I got it. I was obsessed with it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and over time, that rating shrank. I did say in my original review that my biggest concern was the variability of the experience, and I wasn't sure if that would hold up. And sure enough, time showed that over, I don't know how many plays I have, but I want to guess I have like 30 plus plays of this. Over enough plays, I just found that I fell into patterns as how I played Akropolis, and it did shrink down for me. It moved from a 5 to a 4.5, then eventually down to a 4, where it eventually left because I have so many games that are doing this kind of thing. And honestly, speaking of Gen Con games, there is currently Cascadia, what's the new Cascadia called? Cascadia something. The new Cascadia that has layers to it, has height. I'm blanking on the name, but there is a new Cascadia. That name, what the freak is it called? I don't remember what it's called. There's a new Cascadia game that goes higher. But either way, in that Cascadia, I think you get most of the things you like about Akropolis to begin with. And so that one, between them all, like, Akropolis didn't last. It didn't last. Athena came out, and I was very tempted to get it back just because of Athena. Like, maybe this will add the variability that I crave from the experience. Maybe this will be enough to make it a game because I love the game system. Maybe it could have more longevity with Athena. But I didn't pick it up. I'm always a bit more hesitant to re-pick up a game that I got rid of, just because, again, like, games come in, games go out, though I really need to get a game again. I've done it. Some of my favorite games are games that I have gotten back. What's it called? Everdell, I got back. Raja Laganjas, I got back. And so this time with Athena, I chose not to. But now we have Akropolis Pantheon, which is going to be giving you a cooperative mode of playing through Akropolis. Unfortunately, it's not compatible with Athena, so now I have 2 new ways to make my Akropolis experience different. I have the original Akropolis, of course. I have Athena, which gives you like new tiles, new things to add, and then I have Pantheon as well. Now, I don't know for sure if I'll be getting this at Gen Con. The reality is, as much as Gen Con lists are exciting, sometimes games are more expensive when you're there than when just getting it online or who knows where, your local game store, all of that stuff. And so for me, if they have an Akropolis full bundle, I'll probably pick it up at Gen Con. Or if they have last day sales, maybe I'll pick it up at Gen Con. Otherwise, I might just get this online. Like, I do want this. I plan on getting Akropolis back 100%. The only question is whether I do it as part of my Gen Con haul or whether I say, you know what, it can wait for an online purchase. But either way, point is, if you want to play Akropolis in a cooperative mode, or solo for that matter, you can go ahead and play Akropolis Pantheon. Next up, coming in number 4, or number 3, I think we're up to number 3, we have Tag Team Arthur's Legacy. This is a standalone version of Tag Team. Tag Team was a game I picked up at Gen Con last year. Love it. Think it's phenomenal. It's a great auto-battler game that gives you variable characters and easy to dive into and just go ahead and figure out each character's little puzzle as far as how you deck build and then auto-battle your way through it. And this is going to be bringing back, I believe it's 8 new heroes. Is it 8 new heroes? 6 new fighters. Tag Team is back with 6 new fighters. Is this an expansion or is it standalone? I think it's standalone. Tag Team is back with 6 new fighters inspired by the Legends of King Arthur. Okay, it's only 6? How can you call it I think it's standalone, but it's only 6? Okay, fine. Listen, it feels like a smaller version of Tag Team, but I guess technically 6 is still playable on its own, so I guess they market it as, you know, why force you to get the other one? This could be a good entry point to Tag Team, and you could go ahead and mix and match, which I absolutely plan on doing because I have Tag Team as is and will definitely be mixing and matching. So Tag Team. If you wanted more with Arthurian Legends, which does seem fun, honestly, I guess they'll probably do like a little expansion packs. Honestly, Tag Team, Scorpion Mask over here, just not to get too much into your business, but you probably could do a lot of IP stuff with this. This could be like like a Icebound system, but like with the benefit of tag team is so easy to have a new character that's much less content. You don't need like a giant big box of like whatever each time you do 8 new characters. You could have a tiny little expansion of like, boom, here's 8 Marvel characters. Boom, here's characters from a board game IP you like, you know, I don't know, whatever, like whatever it is. 20 Strong and just did the whole Nemesis collaboration. You could have a bunch of Nemesis tag team. That could be a fun little crossover, having all that. Or you could just lean into whatever IP you want. But I see a lot of potential for tag team going the full IP route. It is a good system, but obviously each character has to be distinct enough. Otherwise, it can go the Dice Throne route, which as much as I like Dice Throne, sometimes the repetition of the various characters and how they feel too samey does take away from some of the magic. Anyways, that's tag team. Check that out. Number 2, we have Confusing Lands. Oh no, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. No. Confusing Lands. Quickly, let me fix this. Confusing Lands over here. Lands. Icebound Isles. Icebound Isles. Not this one. There we go. Confusing Lands. Icebound Isles. I love Confusing Lands. I think it's such a fun little 2-player game of trying to just overlay various scoring cards and trying to figure out how to maximize your scoring. I love the puzzle. I'm a huge fan of it from Envy-born games. And Confusing Lands Icebound Isles, which I believe debuted at Origins, but it should be available at Gencon, is just a standalone version that is combinable. Personally, I recommend you get both. You can have an epic gameplay. I think you can even bump it up to higher player counts. I'm not double check the rules on that, but I think you could go. Let me see. A longer solo or 2-player, a 3 to 4 player game. Yes, so you could have a basic. You could just play it as a standalone game. You could expand it to have an epic 2-player game, or you could play a 3 to 4 player game because you now have more cards of this. And overall, that's just a win on all accounts. Now I can play this with 3 players? Yes, please. Now I can have an epic scoring adventure? Yes, please. Now I can play it on its own? I guess so, but honestly, the other 2 sound much more appealing. But basically, in this game, you're overlaying, it doesn't show you the card art, the other one probably does, but you're basically overlaying cards that are either going to be fulfilling goals or giving you new goals. But every new goal you take on starts with negative 10 points. So like, you have to really be committed to it. Otherwise, you're just taking on potential and no actual. You really need the actual to be able to maximize your score in this game, which can be incredibly fun. Which brings me to my number 1, which is going to be, first of all, it's going to be a combo pick. We have 4 Shuffle Dartmoor Exmoor. This is the expansion to 4 Shuffle Dartmoor. But then we have 4 Shuffle Smoky Mountains. So kind of merging them both together. This is the 3rd game in the 4 Shuffle series, a series that I both want more and also really don't want them to go too overboard with it, because eventually you can lose your identity. You can become Ticket to Ride, where now I don't want all of them. I have to pick and choose which ones are worth getting, and sometimes you may even just go back to having one because it's too much information overload. Decision fatigue is a real thing, by the way. But with that, 4 Shuffle Smoky Mountains is a standalone version of 4 Shuffle, giving you water elements. I feel they should have gone full water. I don't think water elements is enough over here. Water elements, like over here, you can have a regular card, but then you also have like a little sea card underneath it, and then other elements under there. So you have lots of water interacting in the game space. I feel a full sea mode could have been interesting, but also I do hear that technically a full sea mode is just another way of spreading cards, and having this element where you have a regular land but water could be interesting. So it basically gives you more 4 Shuffle, but with new small mechanical changes to it. I'm still here for it. Again, whenever you have game systems that keep on giving you a new version of it, it is both a gift and eventually a fatigue. For right now, this is still a gift. For right now, I'm still very much excited, as evidenced by this being my number 1 pick. And that's what we have over here. These are the 10 plus various extra expansions that I am excited to see at Gen Con 2026. If you are going to Gen Con, there's a ton of games to check out. You can go and check the 600 games currently on the BGG list, and fun fact, that's not a complete list. There are still many other games that are at Gen Con that are not on that BGG list, because I'm pretty sure like the new Clank, isn't the new Clank debuting at Gen Con? And I don't think that's on the list. There's a lot of content out there for a variety of games, both new and old, expansions, standalone, anything your heart wants. Gen Con probably has it, including, by the way, a lot of things that are not board games. I just don't do those videos quite as much, but there's a lot of things that are not board games. There's trinkets, there's art, there's who knows what you can get, but you can figure it out if you go to Gen Con. Anyways, with that, I'm Alex from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this Gen Con preview list. As I mentioned earlier, you can check out the other 2, both games that I am recommending and games I am interested in, both on this channel as well as over on How I Roll. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.